Alright, wonderful, dickheads. Welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap. What are we doing? Drawing portraits. What is it? The artwod roadmap. What is artwod? The best online platform for learning how to draw from imagination. Link in description. My excitement's just dead when it comes to this intro. Fuck this shit. Draw along with me or fuck off my goddamn channel. Watch every video. Give me retention. Keep me on the background. What else do I say? Give me likes? Yeah, sure. That too. But what are we doing? We're doing an exercise of the artwod portrait roadmap. Again, artwod gives you the work, not the shortcut. So if you actually want to learn what type of work needs to be done to be able to draw from imagination, click the link in description. I'm not affiliated, I'm just a huge dick writer. I mean, that's just a fact. They actually don't acknowledge me whatsoever, but I acknowledge them. Right? I guess, I don't know, how can I sell this? I'm not really trying to sell them, it's not really my job, but whatever. If drawing like this seems interesting to you, right? Or drawing like, let's say this is for my stream, it's not done yet, but if you want to be able to draw like this, or not specifically like this, but if you want the ability to be able to draw things like this, or draw three-dimensionally like this, go to artwod. Okay, I've only been learning for 3 years, by the way. 3 years and 1 month, or 2 months. This is the 3 years and 2 months of effort. That's what this is. So if that seems relatively impressive for 3 years and 2 months, it's not because of me, it's because of artwod, right? I'm simply the conduit of which artwod is being utilized, some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But what are we doing for this session? Same shit I've been doing for the past 30 sessions, and the same shit I'll be doing for the next 300 sessions for portrait drawing, which is I'm looking at a reference, I'm projecting a box onto the reference, and then a sphere inside that box, and the center lines inside the sphere inside that box. If that sounds extremely difficult, it is, because drawing is a thinking skill, much more than it is a physical motor skill, right? If that blew your mind, prepare to get blown in many other ways. And please wipe after you're done. But anyways, let's just draw. Fuck you. Get off my channel. Just fucking, I don't need you right now. Okay? You can come back when I'm really good and be like, oh my god, what he was saying really does work. Right now, I don't need any of you fuckers. Unless you want to draw along and put an effort, please stay and give me retention. I mean, please stay and draw along. But anyways, I'm just tired of this. Fuck, dude, how the fuck do YouTubers do this? It's the most annoying fucking shit in the world. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I'm gonna suck my own dick. Like, fuck off. God damn it, it's all so fake. Ugh. Anyways, I'm the only real one, right? Nobody else on this platform is as real as me, right? And you can trust me because I make blanket statements like that with no proof. So, and again, while I'm talking, I'm thinking, which is very difficult, right? Drawing and thinking is a very difficult skill, right? And it's a skill, right? It's not a talent, because if it was a talent, only a select few people would be able to do it. But pray tell, my dear dumbass, why can millions of people draw maybe not millions. Why can hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people draw extremely proficiently, right? After a certain point, talent would have to weed out those who, and it would have to be selected for a small percentage, no? If talent implies natural ability, and it implies really good natural ability. But it seems, my dear dumbass, that that is not the case. Therefore, it is not talent, it is a skill, right? I'm sure many of you idiots will come up with many reasons as to, actually, I knew this one person who was better than me, naturally, and therefore I gave up. Good job, you're a fucking loser. you gave up because somebody was better than you, alright? You just weeded yourself out of the competition pool. You should be proud of yourself, alright? But for those of you who simply realize that, oh, okay, their starting baseline ability is higher, that's cool and all, but at the end of the day, it is ability, and ability is skill, and skill is trainable. Therefore, I'll simply work harder than them, become better than them, and then simply ignore the word talent because it serves me no purpose. Congratulations, you have reached what is called a maturity, and understanding that you have the capability of transforming your own life. Hashtag ViggyFam inspires. Not Viggy, I guess not Viggy Fam inspires, just Viggy inspires. We're not famming yet, don't worry. That's my that's my audience name, I guess. Viggy Fammers, right? But it is getting easier to place the sphere inside the box. Although visualizing the center lines, or sorry, the contour lines, which are centered, is much harder. This is still pretty off. Damn, my left plane needs a lot of work. Yeah, this box is... I definitely have this tendency, as you can see, to make this way too large. Yeah, this left plane. So that's a mistake, let it be known, right? A very clear mistake. Right? And mistakes are good, because mistakes are what help you learn. What do we do when we make mistakes? We feel good about them. Alright? Again, from a neuroscience perspective, also I think this is diverging slightly, this line and this line. But either way, from a neuroscience perspective, mistakes are literally the foundation of growth. So every time you make a mistake, you should actually feel proud of yourself, because you're growing. Right? And when your brain recognizes those mistakes and it recognizes that they are mistakes and you attach dopamine to them, i.e. you feel good about them, you're actually improving your ability to recognize and course correct the neural pathways which are attributed, ascribed, associated with that mistake, right? So, you can believe me or not believe me, but 10 years from now, when I'm really, really good by normie eyes, and pretty decent by my eyes by then, because I'll always just assume I'm pretty decent, because I'll always be able to see more than I can do. Right, 10 years from now, I'll be like, maybe he had a point. Maybe he actually knew what he was talking about. Maybe, right? Who knows? Maybe. Until then, I'm just some random dickhead whose words mean nothing, which is okay, because I'm gonna just continue working until they do mean something. Right? Let it be known, what I say won't change. Literally nothing what I'm saying is going to be any different than what I say 10 years from now. My skill will simply be reflective of the person I am, of the person who acted upon those words consistently, right? But either way, okay. And is this accurate? I feel as if, to be honest, I feel as if this was more accurate than, It's still hard to tell, because I'm using the same angle, by the way, because clearly this is an angle I'm struggling with, right? So I'm using the same angle, and I'm just trying to see whether it makes sense, right? Like the ear is, see, I can't even, what the fuck, like the bottom of her ear pisses me off, bro. Why do people hide their faces with hair? How dare they? But is their face tilted upwards? It actually might be, but then I'm seeing the top of her fucking head. Maybe she just has really, really fucking retarded ears. No, I mean, it's the top of the ear, right? So if the bottom of the ear is here, then clearly the top of the ear is somewhere here. So I may still be correct in that sense. And again, I can't see her ear. I can only see the slight bottom of her ear. So this just might be, and again, like the back of the skull is way too big. The back of the box, the back of the head, right? This is just for proportion's sake, right? It's incorrect. I want to be very clear. It's incorrect, but it's still good to know when you're incorrect, right? Like there's no harm in recognizing that you're wrong, because that's literally how you learn, right? When you recognize that you're wrong. And I think her nose actually might have made it jut out a bit too much, but either way, nostril nice and colored in. Slowly but surely, it's getting slightly better, right? And that's all that matters, is that it's getting slightly better. Not extremely better, because, again, I'm not a prodigy. I'm just an extremely normal, average person who can only put in as much effort as possible. That is, I guess, my quote-unquote advantage, is that I'll just keep putting in as much effort as possible. This is definitely not in the right perspective. I made this eye way too fucking big. Jesus Christ. It's okay, we can fraud it with the other one, but now it's just completely incorrect. It's completely incorrect, like, it's completely misaligned, right? But that's the only advantage that normal people have, right? Normal or slightly below average, like myself, right? The only average that you have is the fact, or the only advantage that you have is just you can keep just trying to put an effort, right? And this applies to people who quote unquote are talented or not talented, right? Like effort is still the great determinant of success. Consistent effort, right? Consistent effort where you learn from those efforts, right? I learned a little bit here compared to there, but there's still, like, learning is difficult when you're stupid like me, right? Learning is genuinely very difficult when you're an idiot, because a huge part of learning is changing your behavior, right? So it takes me time to analyze and change my behavior, but because it takes me time to analyze and change my behavior, that would make me below average, right? That would genuinely make me below average. So because that makes me below average, again, the only thing I can control is just how much effort I put in, because I clearly will take a very long time to get better, right? It's just a matter of fact. I'll just take a very long time to get better. So the only thing I can do, and by the way, again, like while I'm talking, I am drawing, evidently, but like while I'm talking, I'm also thinking, okay, those lips were completely off. Yeah, but again, like it's not the point isn't to just really get the lips down or anything, because I don't understand them three-dimensionally yet, right? I understand them three-dimensionally in terms of a concept, because yeah, I watched Antonio, who is the founder of artwod, by the way. So when I say Antonio, I'm talking about artwod's founder, right? The man who changed my life, essentially. But yeah, like when Antonio puts out videos on the artwod channel, being like, hey, here's how you do portraits, and hey, here's how you think about the features as three-dimensional primitive shapes at first, and then more complex ones. Yeah, conceptually you can understand whatever the fuck you want, but objectively you can't, right? Not until you put it into consistent practice. Consistent and practice being the most important things, right? But obviously the third equalizer being consistent practice with dedicated effort, right? Right? Voice crack, right? So again, what am I doing? I'm ghosting. I'm trying to think. So now, like, I've looked at a decent amount of, yeah, I've looked at a decent amount of references on Pinterest. I think I'm slowly, and I say this every time, obviously, but I genuinely do think I'm slowly starting to understand exactly what makes this, what good helmet design can be, right? And I got good feedback from people on artwod's Discord, and they mentioned that I could do more, perhaps, because I basically asked, like, how can I make it so, yeah, like, how can I make it so I still, like, that I can, what's it called, follow the perspective and hold it in my mind better. And then basically one of the things which I am obviously trying to do now as I draw, but like one of the things was try indicating more of the contour. And I definitely think I'm gonna do more of that, right? But it's still very difficult, of course, because it's hard for me to visualize this specific type of plane. You know, this not so hard, like this angle, but connecting it, the other plane, to be subtle like this rather than something extreme like this, I struggle with quite a bit, right? So, and on a larger scale, because visualizing something's already difficult, but then visualizing it on a larger scale is also really difficult. So that's something I'm trying to really keep in mind as well. And don't forget, I'm trying to fit a sphere inside that, and then also think about the contours or the center lines, right? The vertical and horizontal center lines. So again, like here, it'd be something like this. Right, this is the ellipse, and then this is the ellipse that has to be projected onto the sphere, like so. So, anyways, just trying to figure that out, right? And trying to keep the shapes relatively simple. There you go. Maybe something like that. Just like a large shape that's jutting out. I can start with that, can't I? And then maybe this is also just an addition, right? Like a box, that's an addition. And maybe we can just add little form indications, right? We can just call these form indications. Maybe I should just connect them. Maybe that would make it a bit better. But slowly but surely, just trying to make sense of what's going on. Because, like, the thing is, like, I've already... Do you see how I've made this little indication here? It kind of tricked my mind into thinking that this is the perspective, but it isn't, because this is the perspective, right? So now I just need something that affirms to me that, hey, that is actually the perspective. So maybe, again, something that juts out like so. And that way we can get this perspective in order. There you go, maybe something like that, right? And it juts out that way, right? Like, it's kind of adding onto this. And this could all be pretty meh, but trying to think about all this stuff at once is very difficult. And I still fucked up the perspective a little bit, right? So that's a wonderful mistake. It ended up being this perspective again. So I do really struggle with that subtlety, that extended, that wider degree, right? Now the question is, I could probably still fix this, because if I make it like so, right? If I just say, hey, it's actually angled, then perhaps, yeah, actually perhaps, because now this is the angle, right? Like this is what it's following in the middle here, because now if this is a diagonal and this is an equivalent diagonal, then this is the perspective. There you go. That's not bad. And then we'll just maybe add little details. And again, like, this is all, as I always like to say, just what ifs, and maybe I do this, and this is all hypothetical. And while I'm doing these little details, I'm really trying my hardest to keep a solid sphere that's consistent within the perspective lines in mind, right? Within the grid. So please do keep that in mind. Like, I'm constantly trying to think. And this isn't to me be like, look at me, I'm always thinking. I'm trying to, because this is for artists who actually give a shit, right? Like, I'm gonna assume that artists, at this point, you actually do give a shit, right? If you're listening to me at this point, you must care to a certain degree, right? So what you need to understand is, like, there's always thinking occurring, right? There's always thinking occurring. And that's the main lesson to be had, right? It's like there's just constant thought and effort. And that's actually where the beauty of the process comes, because it's very difficult. It's extremely difficult. And you should be aware it's extremely difficult, but that is a good thing, because if it's not difficult, it's not worth doing, right? So I'm just trying to think here, because obviously we got to make the perspective even. So let's see. Maybe, okay, like this box. Okay, see, I fucked up the perspective again, actually. But no, we'll just say this is angled. Right? Yeah, that's just angled. That's okay, and then this should just follow like so. Okay, now we got this, and this is where the sphere comes into play, because it's all wrapping around the sphere. Right? Like that. Something like that. Right? Again, very, very difficult, but very rewarding, to be honest. That's the only way to think about it. It's like, it's very difficult, but it's very rewarding. And that's why it's worth doing. See, okay, so I actually fucked that up. See, it needs to jut out a little bit more. Because now I can do something like this, right? This one comes out. There you go. And I'm not going to even try to put that detail on the other side, because that's just going to muddy it, because I've already muddied it here, right? So while this is, at least while I am saying that this is at an angle, right? Let's just say that's a cutout. So yeah, while I am saying this is at an angle, and because that's the actual perspective, I do need to, let's see, think about what am I going to be doing here. Maybe another jut out. Well, again, if I try to recall what it's been like in the references I've looked at, like, what is this? This is just like a little cutout that I ended up seeing, right? This is just me establishing the planes, I guess? No? There you go. Right? Something like that. Establishing the planes. This doesn't really look that good. I mean, there's always things like this that could be done, right? Little cutouts. Like so. But that just doesn't look good. But if I try to think about like big shapes, you know, big shapes that are wrapping around this, right? And in that perspective that I'm establishing, then I could try something like, and this is where the box comes back into play again. Like, this is really hurting my brain. This is genuinely really hurting my brain, because it's the box, it's the sphere inside the box, and then it is the the contour lines, right? The center lines inside the sphere, inside the box, right? Maybe I could do something like, I'm just trying to think of like some random shape I could add here at the top of this helmet, right? And maybe, like, it most likely won't look like anything compelling, but voice crack, but that's just how it is, you know? Okay, so clearly, here, put a little fucking ellipse in there, because ellipses always make things look better, I guess. Right? Same thing with a little bit of multiple rounding. There you go. Add a little shadow or dark spot, much like my life, which is an entire dark spot. And that's only because I'm brown. Apart from that, it's very bright. But let's see, box. I'm visualizing this a little bit better now. Like it's again, like only maybe 20-30% of the time max. Or I'm trying to see it more often, but it's just the sheer effort of trying to visualize things that really means anything to me. It's kind of like, okay, so what do we want to have here, right? What do I want in this? Let's see, why don't we a diagonal like so, right? And this is the thing where I'm trying to break the mold a little bit, is like I still want to be able to visualize that sphere, but I want to be able to add things to that sphere, right? Like that would be very nice, right? Now I'm trying to see like what can this shape even be. Right? What can we do in the middle here? Well, we can definitely do something like another addition, right? So something like little plane facing there, coming around, and we can make it seem as if it is definitely following the perspective. Let's see. Yeah, okay, see, like I'm losing the perspective, so I need to take a step back. Am I in extreme discomfort? No, I'm not in extreme discomfort, so we need to take a step back and still keep that in mind whilst we do this. Right? And I lost it again, but now I'm aware that I'm gonna lose it, so now I'm really trying to hold on to it, right, as much as possible. See, and you see, like, this, the length of this is getting smaller because I'm still trying to keep in mind that I'm following this plane that's elevated, and I've decided clearly now that it's an elevated plane. See, I made that decision, you know, and then we try to stick with it per perspective and per form rules that we know, right? And how do we need to know those rules? By just constantly practicing additions on different planes. Like, what this is no different than just something like this, right? And what this is no different than something like this, right? Just another box, just boxes stacked on top of a slanted plane in this perspective, right? In this perspective, something like that. That's really all it is. And I know it is not really all it is. Like, trust me, I know it's very difficult. It is not really all it is. But I'm saying in terms of just, hopefully it gives more of an understanding that there is simplicity in the complexity, right? And I am discovering it alongside the drawing. You know, it is not something that I'm just seeing to such a high degree, right? Personally, it's like when Kim Jong-il says he can see, like, he only says, or said, fucking rest in peace, but, sad. Okay, anyways, I said before I get sadder. But Kim Jong-il even said that he only sees like 40 to 60% of what he wants to draw, right? And the rest is knowledge. Here's my understanding now that I've gotten to this current point. Like, knowledge is just the ability to ideate the shapes that you have practiced enough with confidence that they have turned out well, right? So I've put hundreds of reps into, or like at least almost 100 reps into like hard surface, no, definitely over 100 reps, whatever. But the point is I put 100-ish plus, right, 200 maybe reps of hard surface design, right? Trying to figure it out. And 80% of it was bad, was failures, was not good. And the 20%, which I've just every so often, because I'm a fucking idiot, right? So I'm an idiot. So every so often I notice like that seems to be working, you know? That is what I've added to my repertoire, and I can enact with more confidence and more consistency and more speed than before. It only takes 60 to 80 hours, right, to get to this point. But I hope that makes my point clear, that like or at least I hope I'm articulating it to a degree that makes sense, right? Which is, it genuinely just seems to be that is, hold up, shut the fuck up. I know you did nothing wrong. I'm just trying to ideate. As I said, right? Ideation's important. So, no, but what I'm trying to say is like I think that is part of it, like a big part of it, in terms of like how we come up, or artists come up with such like with designs, especially like people who draw from imagination, how they come up with it so fast is because they pay attention to what seemingly seems to look good or work or whatever the hell, and then they disregard the rest, right? And they just attempt to do that infinitely until they die, and that's what looks good. Right, so it's really just process of elimination. So the fact of the matter is process of elimination. I can't fucking speak, Jesus Christ. Don't listen to me. But it seems to be that the process, not seems, but the fact is the process of elimination takes decades and, just extreme amounts of energy expenditure and focus. And you should not be surprised by that because that's literally fucking learning. Right, but I hope I've articulated in a manner where it's like, oh, okay, well, I can see that's what's working for him, so that does give me a little bit more information and possibly assurance. Right, so there you go. There's something I've kind of realized. Right, and like while I'm doing this, I'm obviously losing track of the perspective multiple times. Right, and now it's like, now I have another problem to solve. It's like, how am I going to bring this back to the sphere, which is clearly, just do something like that, which is clearly ends like right here, right? Yeah, that's my perfect sphere. So this is where, again, shapes make all the difference, because I can just do something like this. Hold up. Yeah, see? Perfect. I can just do... Hold up. If that's how it is, then I gotta do something like... Okay. Yeah, there you go. And that might be wrong as well. Trying to make it like wrap around. Let's see, is that might be not accurate, but if I've done this already, if I've already made that decision, what does this projection led to here? Fuck it, I'm just gonna do something like this because I don't really know what I did here. Right, so big mistake that we can obviously kind of make it look like, oh look, it's just like a plating of sorts, right? So it's kind of like, again, this is the part where I'm learning and I'm like, that didn't really make sense, nor did it look good, right? I didn't make it jut out properly, that's on me, so what can I do next time, right? So how do I even, because I do struggle with seeing the other side, I'm not gonna lie. There you go. There you go. Something like that, right? That's relatively even. And then we shall have it, if this is gonna be the end of the fucking sphere, right? Which I need to see still, right? I still need to see that sphere. This is so big, right? You see, like, again, proportions I struggle with so much. It's an amazing feeling because that means I'm constantly struggling, which means I'm constantly learning. But I struggle with proportions so much, right? So what can I do here? Just trying to think like how I can make this look at least slightly decent. There you go, maybe just something like that. But I feel as if it doesn't make much sense. maybe I'll do this to showcase that it is in fact wrapped around a sphere. Right? Yeah, it's like it started off pretty well. I felt as if I think I had something good going with like this goggly area, but I think it's gone to shit past that. Right? Like I think it's genuinely gone to shit after that point. So, and that's obviously because I didn't visualize it as well as I could have, and that'll always be on me, of course. Right? Something like that. Right? Okay, this curve isn't even that good either. There you go. That's already better. But the whole point is like I was trying to visualize and put it around the sphere, but it's been pretty difficult. Perspective definitely took a hit, and I genuinely do struggle with seeing that other side, seeing if it makes sense or not. Right? So those are all, of course, things I gotta work on. I'm trying to see like maybe there's a pattern I can do with this. Let's see, something like this, right? Yeah, something like that. Keeps the perspective in mind, at least. There you go. It's at least it's fucking different than what the bullshit I always do. Right, which is just whoop-de-doo, look at the design, I'm just gonna fucking add another circle over it, which is always stupid. But this is not bad. This is all right. This is at least like it's something that's new, and therefore it is interesting. As much as I do not like the word interesting, it's novel. I think novel is a better way, or better terminology, right? Because it doesn't put pressure on the ideator to immediately wow themselves or others, but it still implies that things are being experimented and you're trying things, right? Which is all this is. It's just trying things. Literally just trying things, right? So it's cool. It's cool, and I think I had a gap here, which I should make sense of. There you go. When in doubt, just add a hinge. Call it a day. You know, maybe add some contours in the middle. Let's see. There you go. Doesn't look that good, but let's rest our brain. I'm gonna obviously keep trying to visualize that. It's been very difficult. I feel as if it's just been difficult, and I just need to lean into that even more. So we have half an hour left for this session, and I genuinely really need to keep asking myself and keep trying to visualize the fuck out of that sphere, right? This design is okay, it's not bad, but again, proportions greatly suffered because I wasn't able to keep it in a specific type of box. So anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain, I'm gonna try again. That's all we can keep doing, right? So I encourage you to rest your brain with my BRB. Yeah, after I'm done that drawing for imagination I showed earlier, I think I'm definitely gonna spend a little bit of my stream just, and I said this before, but I actually will, after this drawing for imagination, spend maybe like 1 or 2 stream sessions just drawing helmet references, real life or concept art from actual other artists as well, right? and probably actually start taking their design language, because clearly my design language is pretty fucking mediocre. So it's not a bad idea, but let me just really okay, like again, like I need to kill my brain. This next half hour, we just need to fucking demolish our brain. And yes, I'm including you in this as well, because you too can work your brain very hard. And you can. You 100% can. You should 100% be able to. Right? If I can do it, you can do it. It's as simple as that, and it'll never stop being as simple as that. Right? I think last video, because okay, this is the next day. I know last video I said, oh, I'm gonna come back in half an hour, but I didn't get time, unfortunately. So, but I know last video I said some shit along the lines of, oh yeah, anybody can do my schedule. I think maybe it may have come across as dismissive. The opposite actually was my intent, so I do apologize. Very lightly, not a legitimate apology whatsoever, just to save face and to make myself feel good about myself. But no, like I don't want people to think that, oh, he's always saying he can do all this shit and like he's flexing. Like, no, I'm saying I can do all this shit and I'm a nobody, right? Therefore, you, who's definitely a somebody compared to me, if we're talking purely in terms of ability, like, and some people might wonder, like, why does he always say that he doesn't have abilities or he's below average? Well, it's because I've been surrounded by people who are much better than me my entire life, right? I think I mentioned this before, but like all my friends, like I'm the most jacked out of my friends, but my friends naturally are much stronger than me, right? Because during my teenage years, spent the entirety of my teenage years just eating shit food. So if you're a teenager listening to this, stop eating shit foods. I'm very passionate about this topic, so I'm gonna give you shit. Get the fuck off your ass. Stop eating garbage. Stop eating sugar all the time. Eat some fucking meat. Eat some goddamn proper greens, all right? Work out. 90% of you won't listen to this and you'll continue being a fucking loser. But I'm telling you, and I'm speaking to myself, who was also a loser at 17, and 15 and 16, whatever. Okay, stop jacking off, stop fucking watching porn, stop playing video games all the time, be athletic, or do something that requires some sort of physical resistance, and eat lots of food, right? With that tangent aside, as you can see, my passion just flared up, my fucking depression towards my childhood actions as well, but can't change it. But the point is I'm trying to make is like I'm the most jacked of my friends, but my friends have more natural ability than me, right? I'm the most not articulate at all for sure, but artistically skilled of all my friends. But I have like my girlfriend's much more artistically skilled than me at a baseline, quote unquote, natural ability, affinity, proclivity, talent, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? My other friends also extremely skilled. Like two of my other friends are also extremely skilled. Or not extremely skilled, sorry. Baseline ability, they're just much better than me, right? And they learn faster than me, pick things up faster than me, right? Like everybody I know is just, in everything I'm interested in, I have people all around me that are better than me, right? So I have no choice, but it's like the underdog mentality, right? It's like, I don't really have a choice anymore. Like my life has proven to me that you don't have a choice but to just work your ass off and to just believe that because you're worse off than everybody else, that you must put in more work than everybody else. You must try harder than everybody else, right? So that's why I say I'm below average, right? Am I possibly below average, possibly above average? It doesn't fucking matter. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? Because I've still got to work my ass off. Like it genuinely doesn't matter. I still have to work really hard. And there'll always be somebody better than me and you, right? Always. What is that? The saying, no matter how good you think you are, there's always an Asian better than you, right? They're like the same shit, you know? There's always somebody better than you. So what can you actually do? What can you control? Your actions, right? What can you control more than your actions? The effort you put towards those actions. Because we all know taking action is very difficult, right? I think it's very clear that taking action is extremely difficult, right? But what isn't difficult is at least trying. You know what I mean? And genuinely, I guess like trying is difficult. What am I trying to say? What isn't difficult is putting in an effort to the best of your ability, right? Because that only requires one thing, which is you just putting some effort in, right? It's like putting an effort to tie your shoelace, right? You're putting some effort in the first few times, and after that, you kind of get used to it. These are horrible analogies. I should really stop. These are fucking horrible analogies. Just try hard, bro. Fuck off. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. just work hard. Do your best. Oh, and like I've lost the perspective multiple times, but this is why I need that reminder to myself, right? Okay, fuck off. Think about the box. Think about the sphere inside the box, right? Really need to consistently think about that sphere inside the box. I'm pretty sure this angle I got is wrong. It's definitely not looking like the angle that, yeah, because this, oh, there you go. Oh, wow, what a huge difference, right? See, so it's the wrong angle. You see, Like I didn't see it properly, but it's definitely we see the top way more than we see the than we should, right? The top plane of her head, the box, whatever you want to call it, is much much wider or much narrower. Yeah, like you're just not seeing as much of that surface, right? I believe it's a narrower degree or a wider degree. I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know. I didn't learn perspective properly. Clearly, I'm a fucking idiot. Right, but and then the ear, the bottom of the ear is here, so we're just gonna assume the top of the ear is like that. Right. Again, I think I made the maybe make the box too big, too wide, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm only doing it as a perfect box, but I know like Antonio, what he would have wanted is for me to bring it down a bit more, like that. Right, because that's the actual face. I get that. I'm just not doing that because I'm trying to envision a sphere, a perfect sphere inside the box, and the center line's inside that sphere inside that box, right? So obviously I'm gonna try again, and I have 20 minutes. I'm gonna spend a really long, proper 20 minutes just visualizing the fuck out of this, okay? And that comes down to seeing, right? Okay, see now I'm starting to see it. Funny enough, literally once I started making an effort to see, I am actually starting to see, and it makes a lot of sense to me now. Well, it's actually starting to make a lot of sense to me now, but I just need to get the angle down properly. I need this angle, not this one. Right, because even this one is as pretty incorrect as an angle. Like, I know I tried frauding it to make it look more legit, but it ended up just looking like this one. Still, to be honest. Right? So, and this just looks like it's diagonally jutting out. So I didn't get it properly. So this time I need to really... And it's like, okay, like, so how can I have shapes that reaffirm that angle, right? How can I have shapes that reaffirm that angle to me? So that just comes down to what do I want to do in terms of the shape language itself, right? And again, like sometimes I'll think it's the center contour. Sometimes I'll think, oh, the horizontal center contour or center line. Sometimes I'll think it's the vertical center line. But I'm just trying to really see this to the best of my ability, right? Incredibly difficult, because don't forget I'm trying to design on top of this, right? But now I'm really trying to place the sphere perfectly inside the box. You know what I mean? Like actually perfectly inside the box. And I think I'm starting to get it now. I genuinely think I'm starting, genuinely think I'm starting to get it, bro. Sorry, give me a sec. My fucking socks are so loose. My left one is like shifting around my foot while I twiddle my thumb, right? So, do excuse my inappropriate behavior, but let's see. Okay, so I'm actually starting to get it now, like at least in terms of how the sphere is placed. But that doesn't mean anything right now. I just need to also be able to see. That's a decent sentence. That's a fucking weird sentence. But after a while, when you're talking and drawing, it's just. I mean, I'm always rambling, but it really just becomes nonsensical. I always talk about the same shit, don't I? I bitch about my fucking childhood and my past, about how I didn't take care of my health, and then I go on an autistic rant about how people need to take better care of their health, and then it's a woe is me pity party about how I don't have any skills and I need to try really hard, and then it's like, actually, you can try really hard too. and then it's just a repeat of that, give or take the fucking topic at hand. So, clearly there's a market for this. 1,000 subs, there must be a market for it. 1,000 subs but fucking 20 views on average, so never mind. No market at all. You see, contradiction upon contradiction. I can't stick to a thing. He can't stick to the thing. Exodia, the wicked one! Sorry, that's just, I think I mentioned this before, it's funny Instagram meme that was sent by my friends about Jamaican Yugi, right? Jamaican? What the fuck kind of shitty, like, half British accent is that? Oi, my Jamaican! Like, what the fuck? That's Australian, too. Jesus Christ. But, yeah, what is it? I summon Exodia, the wicked one! No, I can't do the accent. I could, but then, like, now I'm under a lot of pressure, so. What is it, like, you finna get wrecked, Pakaiba, right? It's like, you finna get wrecked? No. I don't know what finna means. I think that means gonna, right? I'm not acclimated with ebonics of the highest order. But, let's see. See, I'm still trying to get this down. It's obviously a bit larger than that. Okay, so now I have to think about, like, the shape. Because now I've relatively gotten this sphere down, I just have to think about the shape, right? What graphic shape do I want? We could try something different. I haven't really experimented too much, but we could try something different. Let me think. Let me see. That's not what I meant to do, but that's what I ended up doing. Am I in extreme discomfort? I'm trying to be. I'm really trying to visualize this properly. Damn, my lines need so much work, bro. It's when you do lines like these that you really respect the masters. You know, you're like, damn, they knew what they were doing. Let's do something like this. There you go. Okay, so that's what I've sort of established right now. I just need to make sure that this follows suit. But let's see, something like this. Something like that. Oh, that was wrong, but it's okay. I'm just trying to think. It's a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit better. Let's just see how I can make this make sense. It's coming here, so I believe it'd be something like that, right? But I just need to visualize this before I commit, because obviously I wanted it to be something that jutted out. There you go. What if something like this? And then this is what Antonio from Artwod calls reverse engineering the shapes, right? It's actually very difficult because it's all graphic and it's all organic, but it does have a lot of like there's a lot of skill involved in doing this, to be honest. Lots of skill involved doing this. This is obviously where I'm gonna really try to focus on the box and the perspective, right? But yeah, there's a lot of skill involved in doing this. Yeah, see, I don't even know if I did that right, but let's do something like there you go. We can get the perspective correct this way as well. Even if the line work is shoddy. Like a melody. This is fucking make myself laugh. I wonder if there's any kids who'll even understand that. That can't be that old of a song, can it? Shoddy like a melody in my hand. Yeah, like it can't be that old of a song. And every day, just my iPod. Right? I'm pretty sure that part specifically is like extremely popular. And this can be a plane change, can't it? I just need to make sure that, I guess, to the best of my ability, my lines do match what's going on here. Okay, cool. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to add, what I'm basically trying to do is I'm trying to create an addition with multiple different angles with little, I guess, details, as you could call it here, right? And more than anything, I'm just trying to have it be now overlaid on top of the sphere. So trying to keep that sphere in mind as much as possible, but also doing the extra challenge of trying to design because obviously I realized large shapes do create better readability, right? So trying to keep those large shapes readable, right, as per what I said. And then trying to focus on, yeah, like just making things make a little bit more sense in terms of just the shape language that I used. Right? Shoddy like a melody, as one said. I don't fucking know. Whatever, bro. Just... I'll have a better way to articulate it once I have done it a few hundred more times. But for the time being, what I'm trying to explain with my thought process is that I'm still visualizing the box, the sphere inside the box, and the center lines inside the sphere inside the box to the best of my ability, right? I'm still trying to do all that. And while doing that, the designing I'm doing is just trying to add generally just shapes, like a large shapes, like large jutting out, just shapes that are kind of sticking out of it. And that makes it hopefully more readable. Like it's big things rather than tiny things I'm doing here, right? So yeah, that's just... See, like even here, we can maybe... Yeah, there you go. Something like that, right? That makes it jut out. See? There you go. You know, like, we just want to have distinct shapes. That's what I want to do, have distinct shapes. There you go. There you go. We can make this kind of jut out like that, I guess. I don't know what that is specifically, but there you go. It's not too bad. It's really not too bad. I don't think. Right now, we just gotta keep the yeah, we just gotta keep the fucking perspective correct, right? Which can come from doing something like this, right? I'm trying to think before I obviously commit, because committing is a big part of drawing from imagination as well. Here, if that's the case, then yeah, that one will be centered like that, right? Those two hinges possibly, and then we just need to think about... I'm trying to think about the box, the sphere inside the box again, because this is the sphere of clearly established, right? Like this, something like... And yeah, like the box inside of it is still obviously very difficult to see. Like the box overlaying that sphere perfectly is very, very difficult to see, right? But I'm trying my hardest, which is all that matters, right? But again, this is too much. I need to make it a bit more subtle. May have already fucked it up because this angle is definitely more reflective of this box that I put. So we might just have to take the L and just make it reflect this box. But even then, to make sure we don't go overboard, right? Because this is roughly where the end of the sphere should be. And I was like, okay, like what's another big shape we can add on top? Well, maybe it can be something like, let's see. So we do want it to be in the middle. So let's have it come a bit closer. And then maybe we can just do something like... I've seen a lot of just square additions. So perhaps I'll just copy that. I'll just literally copy that, right? Square additions. And to make it still very clear that this is part of a sphere, we can just... There you go. There you go. See? Now it's like, okay, it's very clearly part of a sphere. Because it's wrapping around the form of that sphere. Hopefully. From what I can do. And then we can angle this now, right? We can angle it. We can even add little... again, my lines need so much work, bro, but we can add a little thingamajiggies, just like that, thingamajiggies, right? But before I do anything, I do want this to have an actual shape, which will be something like this. There you go. Kind of looks like a mech KKK with the fucking pointy hat, right? Yeah, good shit. Making my people proud. Yeah, you didn't know, but I'm actually white. I've been a supremacist all along. Think about it. I draw black lines on white paper. What do you think I'm trying to say? Like, what do you think my message is? I don't even know if that's a good joke. I don't even know if that makes sense. But some idiot somewhere fell for it. And that's all that matters to me. that some idiot fell for it. There you go. And then we can maybe just have this be a cutout. Something like that. Okay, see see, I'm kind of fucking up the design here, so we're just gonna leave it. Right, white space is very important. Emphasis on the white. I'm so funny. I'm hilarious. But I think I fucked up the perspective here as well. So that's when we'll do something like that. Ta-da! We made up for it. Okay, now let's finish. See, I lost the sphere a bunch, so let's finish this fucking sphere. Right. There you go. Okay, so now the sphere is back. We could honestly just finish it. I mean, how much time do I have? It's been 55 minutes. Okay, no, we're gonna draw obviously a bit more then. Can't finish the sphere if... You know what? No, I'm going to finish it. And then we're gonna do subtractions here to see if it makes sense. So let's really visualize this. Right, it's coming over. It's coming down. I'm trying to think about the box as well. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than I anticipated. Well, now there's clearly things I can do over here to make up for this, like follow this contour. Right, that's already, now we've already insinuated that with the other side, so that's fine. And then, well, I always do like my cylinders, right? I always do like, this is actually a lot better though. I feel as if I've done a pretty decent job at maintaining the perspective. We can actually, let's see, we can make it a bit more obvious if we just wrap this around like so. And made it part of this, right? Then it'd be like, that'd definitely make it seem as if it's part of the same perspective. Let's see. Not sure if this really makes sense, but there you go. Let's add this three-dimensionality to it. Right, don't know if that really works per se, but yeah, I mean, here this could definitely be, this is just like something in shadow, I guess. Right. Anybody ever seen the anime Beast Tamer? I'm watching that right now. It's actually, again, I'm on that isekai trash binge. I love it, bro. I fucking love it. This is so bad. This, whatever's happening here, I clearly needed to think more about it. But I hope it makes sense, like what I'm doing. I hope my at least thought processes are being explained relatively coherently. Again, let's see, because this is, well, okay, the perspective still got shifted quite a bit, I will say, but slowly but surely, it is getting better, I'd like to think. Slowly but surely, it is getting better. And don't call me Shirley, right? It's classic. Let's see, something like, right? That is, I don't know, I'm just trying to think what this could be. Maybe this is a, just three-dimensionality to it, right? And we could have something jut outward maybe, so something like this. Right? Something like that. There you go. See, obviously, like it's going over this now, but this is just me thinking out. I think I'm starting to understand the big shapes thing that people talk about. again, we can just do my generic little, when in doubt, just add fucking cross lines and then fill them in so it looks like it's supposed to be part of it. But I definitely think my designs I'm starting to understand a little bit better. My line work is fucking ass though. Okay, it's not bad. I feel as if, at least in terms of like creating things that are jutting out, I'm getting a bit better. Obviously, I still need to retain that sphere a lot better in my head. But I think, again, it's work in progress. Not bad, not bad. But, okay, cool. Let's see. It's been an hour, exactly, right? I definitely did work really hard for for that last rep, right? But, cool. And I have a feeling there should at least be something here. Let me, again, you'll notice I constantly keep shifting my hand off the pen. There you go. But just to reinforce the perspective that we've established. There you go. Right, that looks kind of interesting. Right. I think I should obviously put this in shadow as well. There you go. Now that is garbage. Refined. Fuck. Now I want to put this in shadow as well. God damn it. There you go. Now that's garbage refined. Or something like that. I don't know, man. Should I just add something here? Ta-da. Line. Right, maybe this has shadow as well. Who fucking knows? Cool. Okay, well, anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I'll be back in... Time is it? It's 11 right now. 11 p.m. I'll rest, come back, draw, and then play piano. Depends. I might have to piano and then draw if my parents are gonna go to sleep soon. Right? I don't want to keep them awake all night. Like 24/7. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you put a lot of fucking effort in. Whatever I was talking about, bullshit. Whether it inspired, informed, educated, or repulsed you, I hope you stick around and you give me that good retention. With that being said, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money.